Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I kind of want to do just like a talk part of my Tarot&Talks channel name, and I just wanted to speak about a couple of things that have like really surprised me in the world of politics in the last couple of weeks. And the first of them being the banning of broadcasting of the Russian opposition channel TV Rain in Latvia, Lithuania, and revoking of their journalistic license uh, for for a sentence that was misspoken by the news anchor there. So TV Rain, just like a little bit backdrop for you. TV Rain is a Russian opposition channel that had started in early 2010s. Like this channel is literally like I think 10 years old at least, if not more. And they have been consistently anti-Putin all of this time. And they were, of course, when this whole thing started. Well, first of all, it has had a lot of problems being in Russia for many years, and they were basically banned, and they were given the foreign agent status and everything to stop them from broadcasting. And when the war started, to help their employees, because a lot of them were young men who could be drafted, uh, they went to Latvia, and they're all relocated to Latvia, started broadcasting from there. And a couple of weeks ago, one of their news anchors misspoke. uh, they had a live feed going on, and just like just like going live, and he basically, while waiting for a guest to come, he had to say something. He was speaking about covering the horrors of the Russian army, and he basically said something to the effect that, like, yes, we continue to support like Russian troops by covering their stories or something like that. And that was enough for Latvian government to revoke the journalistic license and call them Nazis, basically, Putin sympathizers and pro-war, anti-Ukraine. It was enough for Lithuania to do the same. The anchor was fired the next day, actually. So, like, it's not like the channel did not do anything. The anchor was fired the next day. The company, of course, apologized, but, it was not enough. And now they're banning this channel. And it's quite ironic, of course. And I'm not the biggest supporter of the current political regime, of course. But what's funny is that TV Rain, despite everything, was working in Russia until the start of the war, going as far back as like early 2010s, like literally 2010, I think, was the year that they were established, although I might be mistaken. Maybe it's 2009, maybe it's 2011, but I think it's 2010. And despite everything, the foreign agent status, which, if you don't know, it like severely limits what you can do and basically puts you on a government list, where whatever you do, like if you do too much, you might be just called a foreign spy and have a case against you. So like I'm greatly oversimplifying it, but I don't really want to go into the depths of everything right now. I'm just saying as it is. And despite it all, the TV Rain channel was able to function in Russia and broadcast in Russia for like 10 years period, and like not a year into working from Latvia, and they're already banned. And they fired this news anchor. They apologized. It didn't stop anything. Then last week, the CEO of the channel, Natalia Sindeyeva, she apologized to the anchor who was fired, and also a couple of other employees who resigned in protest. And she was like, please come back. She released a very heartfelt apology on her Instagram, crying and saying that like it was wrong of them to fire him. And it's really interesting to me that how do I say it? First of all, the nuance is lost on many sides, and the nuance is that people can like just say wrong things sometimes. I mean, like, not like wrong from the moral standpoint, but wrong to just like literally just make a mistake, misspeak. You can just do that sometimes, and it shouldn't be punishable. Second of all, it's really interesting that it's like with the Latvian government here, the person who was responsible for banning, sorry, don't remember his name, he himself in 2014 expressed support for Russian takeover of Crimea, and now he's like, oh, I'm pro Ukraine and whatever. Like, we have cancelled many people for much less. And in his case, I do believe that there's like this like certain aura of Soviet censorship that is still prevalent in many post-Soviet countries that is at play here. So of course we have it in Russia, we have it in Belarus. To the extent I believe they have it in Ukraine, we have it in Central Asian countries and in the Baltic Sea countries. Of course, there's the same, but it's just like from the other side. So like if in Russia or in Belarus it's like pro Putin, pro Lukashenko, then in more European or Western countries like once again Latvia and Lithuania, it's like pro Western, but also it's not like exactly really pro Western. It's just like if you don't strictly follow the anti-Russian side that you've taken, then you are not with us and you're a traitor, you're a Nazi, you're whatever. Which I think is once again like wrong, because yeah, you can be anti-Putin and you should be, maybe even, although ultimately it's up to you. But being anti-Russian, like in general, I think it's wrong. You shouldn't be anti any country. I think all of the countries have great things to give to the world, and being against like anti any country, it is I just want to say cringe, but to me it's more like it is discrimination, of course, because we're all people. I am a person, my family, simple people, many people living in Russia are just like okay people. Some of them are brainwashed, of course, but that happens with any country. Take any country, you have a certain percentage of population that is brainwashed, and it's not their fault people are dumb. It's just the nature of this world. And another important thing about all of this is that I believe that it is extremely, how to say, it, it's so just like unprofitable. No, but that's not the word. It gives such a big gift to Putin that you banned this network. By doing this, you're going into purity spiral where like if you make a single mistake, you're out. Okay, fine. But first of all, like those like purity spirals are never good for anyone, and you should be amassing as much support as you can and not create division. And second of all, okay, this channel is not so pure by your standards, but it was one of the largest channels that ever opposed Putin, that amassed once again like a great audience of people, that is like a cultural beacon for many Russian liberals or libertarians or whomever who oppose the current regime in Russia. And by banning this channel, by like throttling the work of this channel, you put those people against yourself, you put these people against your cause, and like at least you make them not as trusting of you and not as supporting of you, which is also bad. And you can say, well, I mean, if they don't trust me right now, and if they don't support me in this decision, or like our side in this decision, then it means that they have always been bad. No, it doesn't mean that. It just means that people see what you're doing and they equate this to what the government here was doing, and they see that it's not that dissimilar, and it's not much better, and it's not as good as they were expecting. You're not acting any better than the Russian government. You're not supporting the people who are actually on your side, and maybe one person out of the whole fucking company made a mistake. Okay, so what? And it wasn't like even a mistake that was intentional. It was just like that this person misspoke. When you have a whole history of this company being against Putin, being against the current regime, I think it's very dumb. It's unproductive. Finally, I remember this word, and it's derisive to the movement, derisive to the people who want change in Russia and who want other government in Russia, and it is extremely great for the Russian propaganda machine that will spin it now and say to the people who are on the fence, who like, yeah, there are people who are neutral or who don't know who to trust even now, of course, and that's okay. Some people and many people don't really want to make any decisions in their lives. Once again, that's just the nature of this world. And those people will see this, and the Russian propaganda will tell them, well, you see, West is not pro-free speech and pro-freedom as you thought and they said they are. No, they are censorious. They hate any ideas that are not coinciding with their ideas. They hate everything. They're not great. They're hypocritical. Don't trust them. And many people, or at least as some portion of people, will agree with that and will support that. And that's one thing, and that further pushes your goal of changing the regime in Russia away. If you even want to do that, if you want to see change in Russia, you should be supporting people who will drive this change, not making the movement hating each other or going into purity spiral to see who's the better at hating Russia or whatever, which is also wrong. You should not hate Russia. Russia is a great and beautiful country, as all of the countries on this earth are. So this is one topic that I want to discuss. It's a great blunder on the side of Latvia and Lithuania to do that. I think it's a big propaganda hit to the Western side and pro-Ukrainian side, because I'm sorry, but if you're banning the whole opposition network for having one employee say one thing wrong, not even on purpose, then I'm sorry, you're turning people away from yourself and from your movement, from your ideas. And it's a great gift that was given to Russian propaganda, which goes to another story that is also a great gift to the Russian propaganda, which is an exchange of Victor Bout for Grinner. I'm sorry, I don't remember her name, and it's not surprising. Yes, she's a sportsman, or he. I don't know. This person is a sportsman, a sports person, this person is a basketballist, and this person was also arrested, and this person broke Russian law. And as much as I disagree with laws of this country, of course, it is still a law, and you still broke it. I'm sorry, it's Russia. You cannot bring anything drug related into Russia. It's all bannable. It's all punishable. It's unbanned. It's all against the law. And if you do it, I'm sorry, but you're getting into gulag. It wasn't really a gulag. But of course, it's difficult there. It's difficult there in the Russian prison. So yeah, of course, I understand it was difficult for this person, but you broke the law, and you broke the law. You get the time. You would have had the same in Japan, in South Korea, in Singapore. I don't know about Australia or New Zealand, but you would at least get the fine there. But you come into Russia with drugs. These countries. At least you could trust the propaganda that is saying that, oh, Russia is really bad and scary and whatever, right wing. Although I don't believe that Russia is super right-wing, and I want to make another video about that. But still, and I think the greatest gift that was given to Russian propaganda machine is that, of course, you exchange this tactically and strategically worthless WNBA player for Victor Bout, who is, of course, if you trust the Russian side, he didn't do anything wrong. If you trust the Western side, he's the merchant of the death. I don't actually know myself. not making any statements, but of course I do believe that if he was arrested for something. And I think there might be some arms dealing in his life, of course. Not, I'm not disagreeing with that, but if you believe that this person is so bad and so awful, he's the merchant of death, why are you exchanging him for a WNBA player? Now I saw news from Politico saying that, like, oh, Pentagon has concerns about the release of Victor. But oh, really? Why did you release him then? Is it because your administration wanted to virtue signal and to make itself look better? But like, you're not making it look better. If he is an arms dealer and the merchant of death, and you're releasing him back to Russia during what you call the Russia-Ukrainian war, what do you think will happen? Do you maybe think that more arms will appear on the Russian side? Do you maybe think that arms from like Russian or Ukrainian side will be sold internationally? Like, what do you think will happen? Or do you think that Victor Bout will not be doing anything he did before being arrested? He will not, for sure, return to his previous line of work, so to speak. Of course he will. Of course he will. And what's also damaging, I've seen his interviews for the RT, and for your information, RT is a Russian-sponsored media. I don't really trust it. I never watch it. I don't like it. Many people in Russia don't like it. But in his interviews with the RT, he expressed that he pities America. He thinks that America is destroying itself. And you might agree or disagree with it, but you cannot disagree with the fact that it is a great soundbite for the Russian propaganda, saying that America is in demise and America is dying. Like, you see even this awful person who was like, held in prison or whatever, saying that America is going to die soon. Especially going back to him saying that back in 2012, he was saying that I will be back in Russia and your empire will fall. 10 years passed, he's back in Russia. And is the empire falling? I don't know, but at least the empire is not feeling so well. And Russian propaganda is also talking that like it's a huge blunder for America to agree to this deal. Do you really think that people who support America and Russia, and there are such people, who want America to prosper and who want to live in a world kind of like shaped and maybe led by America, do you think it is easy for them to be on America's side when America does such tactical and strategical mistakes? And when it is, like, once again, it is a sports person against a merchant of death. Like, what is it? How this should be interpreted, other than it's a great mistake. It's a really bad exchange, which was decided only because Biden or his administration wanted to score some political points, because, oh my god, it's a black, lesbian, like whatever, weed-smoking person that's going back to the country and we're saving her from this awful Putin's regime. But that it's very surface level. It's not well thought through. It's a huge mistake. And I mean, if I were an American, I would really think about supporting Biden, if I were supporting Biden, of course, because I'm sorry, but I cannot see it in any way other than it's a great failure. Not, of course, so big, but it is one of the largest blunders of the foreign and international US policies this year. And you have other people, and even Russian propagandists were speaking about that. Like, you have like this Whelan, who's like the US Marine who's held in Russia for spy charges. And he wasn't released, but oh my god, I'm really forgetting her name. This like WNBA sports person, she was released. Why? Why couldn't Biden negotiate for Whelan, who is on spy charges, who is a US Marine? like infinitely more important than a sports person. I'm sorry. I you can see that I'm fat, and maybe that's my bias, but I don't really see sports people as that important. Like, to be honest. So, it's just like a couple of things that has happened during the last couple of weeks that I was thinking about, and I wanted to make a video about, because although I don't think it's crucial or critical, I also do believe that those are great mistakes. Those are big mistakes that shouldn't have been made by the Western side, be that US or Lithuania, Latvia. No, wait. Yes, Latvia, Litva. I'm sorry. That's what we call these countries in Russia. So, Latvia and Lithuania, and just giving more arms to the Russian propaganda side, which is, if you are on the other side, on the opposite side, it's not great and shouldn't have been done. So those are my ramblings about those topics. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you want, comment down below, tell me what you think. Maybe you disagree with me, maybe you agree with me, and I'll see you in the next video, and hopefully the next video will be a reading of sorts, but today it's not. Thank you so much for watching again. Bye.